The following program is powered by Ride the Wave Media.
Introducing the best podcast in Utah, Radio Daybreak. Here are your hosts, Just Plain and Bex.
Oh, yes, here we go. Bex, we're back. They haven't canceled us yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
We're
In
trying.
fact, I feel like our guests just get better and better each week.
They do. They do. And look, we got Kambria Davis from Kaya Community with us. We're going to get to her.
Yes, we are.
We got real quick announcement, though, because we don't want to stretch out too much time. We really want to get to Kambria. Only thing we really got to talk about is, what is it? The Daybreak Business Community? Is that it?
Daybreak Business Community. We are now at Harmon's, the month of April. Harmon's every Wednesday from 1 to 2:30 p.m.
That's right.
We're on the second floor, Blaine.
It'll be upstairs. So if you walk into Harmon's, you can either take the elevator. If you're not able to use the stairs, if you're able to use the stairs, hop on the stairs. Come upstairs, look for us. You're going to find us. You might find us in the little, I call it the secret room. It's in the, it's the
the southwest corner.
Yeah, it's actually behind the Just Burgers. If you've been up there, it's called Just Burgers. We're talking about the Daybreak Harmon's right there on the north shore of the lake. That's right, huh?
Every time.
Right behind Just Burgers. We'll probably be in that little hidden room every Wednesday. It might be every Wednesday in May too. We're gonna see how it plays out, but we're expecting a big crowd this time. This is gonna be we got new agendas. We got what else? Website coming?
Yeah, we've got a website coming. We're going to make a big announcement about our website landing pages that y'all can be a part of. I don't want to get too much here. Come and visit us Wednesday, 1 to 2:30 at the Daybreak Harmon's.
I love it. Let's get to our guest.
She's taken me forever to get her on this show. You are a busy lady.
This is Kambria Davis.
Yes.
She is the founder of the Kaya Community. We're going to get into what the Kaya Community is as we get into this conversation. But I got to start this thing off. I know just recently, you went out to some college hoops. You're a big college hoops fan.
Yes. Women's basketball for the win.
Yes.
Hey, we got some. Well, man, it's not even beating around the bush. It's the most exciting time in women's college basketball right now. Right now.
By far.
And I'm not just being a hype man for this thing, but man, you got Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. Is that game tonight? I know
tonight.
This is on Monday. We don't normally do this, but we will date this show because that game is tonight. It's going to be epic. I can't wait for that. We got to get out of here before that game even starts. We got to get this going.
Yeah, we got people coming over. But yes, huge for women's college basketball, women's sports period right now. It's really cool.
It's putting it on the map. I do love seeing that.
Yeah.
Now you go ahead.
I was just going to say, you used to be a player and a coach. Is that right?
Yes.
All right.
Yep. I mean, I didn't play in college, but I played in high school and I coached, and a lot of that was just super foundational to my life. And I think growing up an athlete absolutely impacts and has impacted my whole life and still does. Yeah.
That's incredible. So how did that translate to future endeavors after you were done with playing high school ball or coaching ball later after that? So
yeah, I really think that athletes have a different mentality. I have this conversation. When you are an athlete, you are rejected a lot and you are criticized often. And so kind of in our world nowadays, feeling rejected or feeling criticized can lead to a lot of different things. And so I think as an athlete, when you are constantly hearing feedback, it develops your brain, it develops your awareness to want to be a better person, partner, parent, student, athlete, boss, whatever it is, because you're constantly chasing. If you listen to Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, they are never satisfied, right? And so I see that for the most part as a blessing in my life still. Maybe people around me are like, oh, it's a little bit of a curse,
Yeah.
So, because I'm not ever satisfied, right? So the constant stretch to be better, to grow, to improve, definitely set the foundation of being an athlete and being able to hear that feedback, that criticism, right? Or that rejection, like not good enough, or need to be better at this or work on this. And then that has fueled some of that personal self-growth.
Mamba mentality. Kobe wasn't wrong when he had Mamba mentality. That's a real thing. And athletes have that. It's wild. I've seen it up close and personal as Kambria has. There's something to it. There's something to it. Yeah.
Well, and to your point, not only are you hearing that feedback and that criticism and that critique, right? You have to learn to take that, but also the wins with the losses. And losing can be, you know this personally by having a loss. You learn how to deal with that. You pick yourself up, and it's the next play, it's the next shot, it's the next drive, it's the next run. You have to learn to be strong mentally with that focus and pick up and keep going.
Totally. Yeah, and especially playing a team sport too. You have to start to really think about other people and bounce things off other people and work through other people, and the whole world doesn't revolve around you, right?
Yeah.
So learning that early on, and in basketball, you make a mistake, you have a mere split second to forget about it, and you have to be able to move through and move on. So that's been super foundational. That's why whether I'm in real estate or talking about all the woo-woo of the stars, like that core stuff of being an athlete is still with me and something I'm still very passionate about.
So you said it a minute ago, the world doesn't revolve around you, and you are the one person that would know if that world revolves around you. We would get to that. But after you left college basketball and as a coach and stuff, you went to retail. Is that right?
Yeah. Retail sales. Started out like selling cell phones at Verizon, and then moved to Best Buy, and then eventually found my way into Journeys, which is still, and most of those were commission-based jobs. So, and now realtor is realtor, and commission-based jobs. And so again, going back to that foundation of being an athlete and having this drive, having this work ethic, being able to be in that competitive sense. I went into retail overall for probably, I don't even know, 15 years. Yeah.
There's
Nice.
lots of skills in there to learn at a retail.
Yes. You're just all you're doing is dealing with people.
That's
all types of different personalities walking in that door, I'm sure.
That's it.
Yes.
Like that's any retail job you had is diverse. It's you're gonna get all walks of life in there wherever you're at. It's wild.
And Kambria, I know you and I share real estate, our passion and love for real estate. It's the same thing.
Totally.
You're just in a people's world, right? It's all about relationships and people and navigating that. And so tell me, when you transitioned from real estate into what you're doing now with Kaya Kommunity and all that entails, tell us kind of how that shift happened.
Oh man. Yeah. So let's see. How do I condense this down? So I'm in not real estate. I'm in retail, and I'm a district manager, and I've got 100+ employees in 5 states and working 75-hour weeks. And for whatever reason, all the accolades, every award that I had won, everything that I had been doing was not feeling well. And there was just this pull. There was just this, I think we all hit that at some point in our life, or multiple points in our lives. And the reality is it's always multiple points because everything's a cycle. But I was hitting one of those points, and it was not fulfilling anymore. If 15 years ago, 12 years ago, when I'm sitting as a retail district manager, somebody said, okay, in a decade, you're going to be talking about the stars and the cosmos and the planetary movements and how energy is far more important than mindset, I'd be like, what? You guys are lunatics. And what are the stars, the cosmos, the moon's cool, but like, what is that? Absolutely no way would I've ever seen this coming. Yeah. But I knew, and it's just steps, right? It's funny. We just make a choice and then we go. We make another choice and we go. And before you know it, I'm leaving retail in this like safe, stable, 6-figure income job and all the things. And people are like, what are you going to do? And at first I was like, I don't really know. And people are like, what are you? You don't know. And I was like, well, maybe real estate. A few people had said something about real estate and how good I would be at that. So I was like, okay. So I actually left my job, my career, and then I started taking real estate classes. I know a lot of real estate agents start taking the classes and kind of dip their toes, but I have a lot of fire in my birth chart. And so I'm just like all or nothing person. Like we're either going for it or I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So that happened. And then I went from working retail and all those hours to taking real estate school and pretty much silence in my life. So, you know, waking up at 7 and my phone going off from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day to pretty much nothing. I'm single at the time. I just have me and my dog. I don't have 2 phones, and I'm taking real estate classes, but I'm not really doing anything else. And that was not my life. And when that starts to happen, and things fall away, and your patterns and your behaviors and your conditioning and everything that I've been running from, right? Because addiction comes in all forms, and we get to run away from a lot of things. And so if I'm just working, then that's okay because I'm a hard worker. But really, I'm just avoiding and dodging everything important in my life for 10 years. So then I start healing and I start going through some of these motions. And at some point, somebody was like, you should have energy work done. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Right. And so I go have my first Reiki session. And at first it was super strange, very weird. I was like, what is this weird cuckoo cuckoo stuff? Right. But I found myself in this room having energy work done, just sobbing. I cried more in an hour than I maybe had in 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And from there, it just kind of unfolded as to how I went from, retail, and then now I'm still doing real estate, but this energy, this other stuff is starting to show its head because I have space for it finally. Yeah. So it kind of started with the first Reiki session, and then from there, things started showing up. It's like as we shed, we provide new space for new to come in.
Wow.
What other things kind of started showing up? Like, what do you mean? Like,
oh man. So what's wild. So if people know me, like I'm a huge hugger. I cry almost all the time. When I was in retail, right? First of all, I'm super in my masculine, which I had been most of my life because I played sports, right? So I'm like very competitive, very in my masculine. And let me just paraphrase this, people. Masculine and feminine is not male, female. Okay. Yeah. It's different energies, but I'm just very much in my action, control, take it. And so as I didn't have to take as much action, I started to surrender into my feminine energy, which is the receiving, right? Instead of the constant like control, go, I was able to soften, and I could kind of go back to who I am at my core, which is I'm a really, really vulnerable, soft, gentle person. But I can present very masculine or more active or more, demanding. And so depending on the space that I was in, how was I, held in those different spaces? So things that were coming up for me, I mean, I had health issues when I worked at that job for 10 years that have totally been cured now with no medicine, no doctors, no nothing, literally just energetically healing and feeling my feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the stress, it's almost like you're stuffing, did you know I'm also a nurse, a registered nurse, and was in healthcare for 20 years, right? How do those cancers start? Like there's medical science behind this stuff. It's like completely the effects of stress and what happens to your body.
Totally.
This is so inspiring. So is this then your journey? Is this what started Kaya Community, or are we not there yet?
So we're not there quite yet, but yeah. So over the next year, what the timing would have been? Let's see, that would have been, I'm not great with dates. So it's like probably a year or two. And in this, so I'm like Reiki, and then I do a little more Reiki, then I take Reiki, and then I take Kundalini yoga class, like yoga teacher training. And my brother, who he also is into the spirituality and kind of has forged this path a little bit for me, at some point, it was actually near my birthday, and that same year that I had transitioned out of retail into real estate, which would have been 2017. And I just had this total personal breakthrough. I mean, I literally cried nonstop for 6 days, and not like like that type of crying. And my mom kind of was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I know." I was literally just going through a death, but it was weird because I was only still like 8 months out of retail. This was all new for me, but there's something inside of me that was like, this is okay. But sometimes my brain was like, you're not okay. And then after like 6 days of that, my brother kind of read my birth chart. And yes, he knows me, but he was saying things that he didn't know specifically about where I was personally at that time. And then, I would say another 10 months after that, I was actually at a coffee meeting with like a financial planner and my ex-wife at the time, who's also a real estate agent. We're planning like a first-time home buyers class or something. And we're at this coffee shop. And I don't know how to the terms to put it in, but I basically like fell asleep or something happened. I had like a little dream, a little downloads, people will say in the spiritual community. And I just saw a room full of women and I saw people healing and talking about stuff. And then I was like, okay, I got to do that. And the 2 women I were with were like, what? And I was like, I don't know what just happened. And I just put a bunch of notes in my phone. And then it was like, okay, I've got to hold this women's healing day. And people were like, what do you mean? And somebody was like, you just have to put it out there and everything will fall into place. So I didn't know, similar to kind of launching the podcast where it's just like, you want everything ready. You want everything to be a certain way. And it's actually, I know it's like super cliche, but it's not. You just got to put it out there and learn as you go, right?
Start.
So, just start. Just start. And so what's interesting is, so I was like, okay, we're going to have this Women's Day. Here's where it's going to be at. Here's the price. It was so interesting because nobody really asked what it was. People were like, okay, I'm coming. And I was like, because the few people, they're like, well, what's going to happen? I was like, you're just going to come be in community and we're going to heal together as women. And people were like, okay. And they were coming. And I was like, oh man, yes, we're in. So for that, so I put it out. And then the next few days I was like, well, I have to name it something. And I didn't know. And I kept being like, women's healing, like nothing was feeling good. And I was chasing the answer. And if I've learned anything about myself, like chasing doesn't work for me. Again, that's the masculine. That's like that got to go after it versus if I just surrender, things will appear. Right. You two are part of that surrender process and meeting both of you too. So I just finally, I was like, I don't know the name of it. I started crying. I was super frustrated. I was like, okay, I took a bath. Like I mentioned before, I have a lot of fire. So water's really good to balance me out. So I was taking a bath and I was listening to a song and there was something in the song. Again, my brother's a key piece of this. He had sent me the song and it said, come as you are. And I had heard that. I'd seen the cute little signs and I was like, it just hit different. Because I was like, how do I express that at this healing day, it doesn't matter if you've had Reiki, it doesn't matter if you're, of a certain religious belief, it doesn't matter if you're 16 or 60. I just want women at the time to come and feel safe and to feel their feelings. That's basically all I knew.
Wow.
And then come as you are dropped. And then I'm Kambria with a K, so naturally I have to be extra, being the Leo that I am, and put K. So
that's how Kaya.
So then I was like, yes. So again, it came. It was reception. It wasn't me starting a business. Like, what's the cool name? It just came. And then I was like, now I'm crying for a totally different reason because it felt so congruent. It felt so aligned. And then I Googled what is Kaya, and in different languages, some version of Kaya incorporated and encompassed all of the things that this first like Women's Healing Day was going to be about.
Wow.
What a story.
Yeah.
What a journey.
Oh yeah, man.
And this happened in, did you say 2-3 years time? Like that this all unfolded. That was a lot of change.
Yeah. So I left Journeys. I gave my notice December of 2016, got my real estate license March of 2017. So was that 5-ish months? And then Kaya, the first event was 5/5, May 5th, 2019.
Now, what was the event? What was this event? This was when all the women came together. What did you do there? Because
totally,
if you didn't even have a name for this thing, you probably didn't have an agenda. Like you didn't know what you're gonna do, right?
No. Yeah. So yeah, I knew we were gonna fill things, and again, at this point, I had all these trainings because I know we live in a society that really loves trainings and education and first my degree, right? I just intuitively I just trusted and I trusted. And at this time, I mean, it's still hard for me, but in 2019, it was 5 years ago, learning to just trust. And I was just like, okay, I got to have this. I knew there was going to be speakers, but I did some breath work. I did some, intuitive healing things. We did a lot of partner work. And we literally, at the end of the day, just a bunch of women came and felt their feelings. And we did a ton of energy work. And we ate and we cried and we laughed.
What a great
And
time.
that was the beginning of Kaya.
What a great time. So along with that work, then I'm sure, as you mentioned, you're into, the education, the training, the learning, and that grew and developed. So tell me how then you got into, is it called sound healing? And then also the astrology piece.
Yeah. So the astrology, it's funny, right? Is like, you hear your horoscope in your life, or, oh, Leo, because I'm a Leo. People are like, oh, of course you're a Leo, these things. But it really turned for me when I was at this moment, this death and rebirth cycle, when he read my chart, and it just opened up. So it was more, if it wasn't like this predicting of the future, it was more like, these are things I already knew, and it gave me confirmation. So I was feeling really seen and heard and kind of understood why I was going through this very intense time, instead of trying to like explain it away, which is what I think we try to do, right? We want to know why versus like, hey, this is what's happening for you personally in the cosmos. This might be why you're feeling some of these things.
Or and to your masculine. Oh, sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Kambria. Or to your masculine side, I love what you're saying as far as, you being able to control, and, you were an athlete, like controlling and very, strong-headed. You're a Leo, so stubborn, all of those things that are kind of driving your life at that time. And then learning to surrender and trust and listen and be receptive. Like that's challenging. I'm a very dominant personality, so I feel like you're like speaking to my soul right now.
Yeah. If y'all were to pull some of my journeys managers, which I'm actually still close to a handful of them, they probably have the most incredible journey of watching me be a district manager, come in, light these stores on fire, have the highest expected. We were the number one district in the company for a long time, like out of 75 districts, and we held the records in all of these statistics. And then to now be like, you guys, it's okay. Just like be patient, and the answers will come, and you're going to trust. And actually, totally just breathe. And like intuitively, you're going to know what to do instead of go out there and force the outcome. They're kind of like, what are you talking about?
That's super.
I want to talk about some of this star stuff, this astrology stuff, because I've been over here. I'm usually pretty quick. Now I've got this real close. I've got it, but look, something's out of whack here.
What you got, Wayne? Oh yeah.
I'm one of these, speed twisters here with the Rubik's Cube, but not lately. But I feel like there's something going on in the stratosphere, or whatever you call it. What's going on out there, Kambria?
Definitely in the stratosphere. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You are on. What's the stratosphere? I'm going to add that. I call it's the planet balls. That's what I like to say. It's on the moon and the planet balls in the sky. Okay.
What's out of whack right now? It's like
everything.
Okay.
Yeah. My week last week was insane, crazy.
Yes.
The thing that came out of nowhere, I'm like, I feel that. My life was the Rubik's Cube that you're telling me.
I can't get it big. I can't get it solved. I'm usually like, 12, 13 seconds, I'm done. But not right now. I'm just it's
so there's a reason for that. So great lead in. From March 25th, we had a lunar eclipse.
Okay.
And basically, so I like to try to keep things digestible. March 25th to about April 26th. So 1 month. Okay. Everyone breathe.
Okay.
Slow down. Be patient. Take a deep breath. Be patient
right now, by the way.
Yes. And understand that energetically, things are very intense above us, which will translate that energy to us. Things are very intense. Things are going to feel rushed. So a couple things. We are in eclipse season, which happens every year, twice a year. But this one happens to be on the Aries and Libra axis. So Aries represents individual self, Libra represents others and partnership.
Oh,
so now what we have between the eclipse season is between March 25th and April 8th. So it's a little shorter. So between these two seasons, you're going to see a lot of things coming up about myself, my boundaries, what's important to me, how do I want to live my life, what's happening for me, what are the relationships that are working, and then also others, right? And when we think relationships, not just intimate partner, it's friend, it's business, it's our relationship to Mother Earth, it's our relationship to the cosmos. So we're in this position of looking at self and other, okay? And that always, in my opinion, Aries and Libra can often stir up the most in us because we are still human beings that are in constant relation to other human beings and everything around us.
Yep.
So that's one aspect, okay? And that's intense as is. Eclipse season is always big from any astrology standpoint. You really prepare for eclipse. Also, things that happen during eclipses will bring things to the surface, sometimes that we didn't want to see.
oh,
It's a magnifier, right?
Hey.
So the stuff that's working, we're like, yeah, let's go, roll. Stuff that's not working, we're like, oh, that is really not working. And it becomes very clear in eclipse season. So my advice for people, if they choose into, looking at the cosmos during this time, is don't turn a blind eye. What comes up in eclipse season is big information for you, even if we don't want to accept it.
Ooh, that's pretty profound. What's going on? And let's, take a deep dive into all of that stuff. Good or bad, positive and negative. It's a great time for, I guess, introspection and then taking a look at that and maybe creating a plan for change.
Totally.
Or acceptance and sit with it for a minute.
Yeah. And that's intense energy all on its own. And then we currently, so today, which is actually Monday, but people will hear this on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Mercury goes into retrograde. And I love this transit because it is such a joke and such a meme on all the social media.
Yeah. I thought it was Mercury and microwave. What retro and what now?
Gatorade and the microwave. Yes.
Yeah, yes.
So let me just, put all of that to rest and let you know what Mercury in retrograde means. So to your point, Blaine, when Mercury goes into retrograde, which happens 3 or 4 times every year, I see it as the cosmos gift to us because when Mercury is going direct and it's moving forward, it's not actually moving forward or back, but that's a whole other topic. But when Mercury is in retrograde, it appears from the naked eye on Earth to be moving in reverse. So just think about driving. If I'm driving forward, I drove to Blaine's house today. If I'm driving in, forward into Blaine's house, no big deal. It takes me 8 minutes. Okay. When Mercury's in retrograde, you can still get where you're going, but now you are forced to drive in reverse. You're driving your car in reverse. So I could still drive to Blaine's house, but now I have to put it in reverse and go that way. How much longer is it going to take me to get there?
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's a great analogy.
Yeah. So when Mercury's in retrograde, it's retro, So we are going to reflect, reassess. Okay. Any word that starts with that is what we want to do in retrograde. So we want to retry something. Mercury retrograde is not usually the ideal time to start something brand new. It's a time to reassess or reflect on something that you've done before that maybe didn't work out.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot to think about. We got a lot to digest.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
And when you're driving in reverse, I'm going to notice houses or restaurants or stop signs that when I'm in autopilot driving forward, I don't even notice, right?
Wow.
So that's a period of reflection. So that's where also, Bex, you said something about, man, everything is just feeling, you can't do the Rubik's Cube. Well, because you're driving in reverse, right? So
it's worse off than I was. I mean,
so I guess for me, my takeaway after hearing that would give yourself some patience, give it some time, breathe, and get through the next, what did we say, till the 24th, April 24th?
Well, technically it goes back forward. It stations direct on the 26th.
Okay.
So I like to give a little day. Like I'm not a hard black and white person when it comes to specific transits because I think the energetics remain. So April 27th is when it will head back direct. So we have two big things. We have eclipse season that we're in right now on top of Mercury retrograde. And like I said, it's not a time it's not a time to fear. It's a time to understand that a lot of what we're doing might take longer. It might be more difficult. You might run into more hiccups than you expected to have. So it is the universe kind of, like I said, in my opinion, a gift to force us to slow down, to force us to reflect and remember, right? So this is a time to say, okay, cool. What did I do? What did I try to launch last year that didn't work? Or what was this new behavior or this pattern or whatever that I wanted to kick into gear and I didn't do it? Let me review something that didn't work out and maybe figure out why during Mercury retrograde. So it's a reflective period. It's not a period to be upset and mad and, oh, my life's gone to, it's gone or whatever. If you have to block that out, sorry. But, it's like, oh man, my life's over. No, it's a slow down period, and patience is huge for the next 4 weeks.
Oh, good. I have none. I guess I better learn it. So,
I mean,
all right. Well,
this is gonna be a rough 4 weeks over here.
It is intense. That is for sure. But that also helps us to know, okay, cool. Things are going to be more intense, more reactive, harder to do, longer, right? And so then when we have that awareness, then it gives us a little bit of opportunity and to know that we'll not always be this way.
I love that.
Yeah.
Kambria, appreciate you jumping on. You got anything else you want to hit before we get out of here?
If this episode interests you, I'm going to dive really deep onto all the specifics of Mercury retrograde and the eclipse season on the next Kaya podcast. So
where can we find you?
Yes. Where can we find you?
Yeah. Thank you for putting on the screen, but at KayaCommunity.com is a website, and at Kaya_community on Instagram. Sorry, nice. I did those backwards.
No, we got them both.
Mercury
that's the producer
Here.
for us there.
There we go. Yeah.
Hey, if I had just a monkey in a truck, that'd be enough. They could run this, okay? It'd take my truck.
Crushing it.
Yeah,
killing it.
Hey, but for real.
Remind me when your podcasts are released, Kaya, because I know a lot of people are going to want to deep dive into this. So when's your next podcast going to be released?
So a new episode gets released every Wednesday at 12 p.m. because, again, extra.
Love it.
Nothing wrong with that. We love it. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week right here on our show here at RadioDaybreak.com. Go see us.
Yeah.
Merch yet? No merch?
It's coming.
I love it. See you guys.